let's talk about the MI5. You know, you had mentioned that she was already spying for London, or at least suspected to be spying for London. There was a big splashy story in the Post about how she had tried to get by William and Harry, and found some kind of seedy club that they visited all the time, and she was there, and she knew, and she warmed up to them, and engaged in several conversations with them. How did this happen? First of all, why are they going to a booby bar when they are of royal heirs? And second of all, what kind of a breach? I mean, the MI5, they're nobody to mess around with.
Right.
So how'd this go on?
Well, as far as them going to these particular places, that's a question between them and the royal family, which I'm sure that they're being grilled extensively as to why this came out to light. In terms of her, that was her job. Her job was basically, as well as these other folks, were basically to infiltrate society, whether it's U.S. or British society, and try to culture and cultivate relationships in the highest societies, parts of societies, or where places where they could get information from. That was their function. Apparently, in the time that they were here, they weren't extremely successful at it. This story of her being with the princes, I'm sure that the royal family did not provide her with any classified information that could be of use to Russia at this time. MI5 is also an excellent outfit, and I'm sure that they handle their end of it extremely well.
What is Russia looking for? Some reports say as little as just information on how America's living and what our lifestyle is like. But others say, you know, it's from anywhere from that to nuclear weapons and trying to track them. What exactly are they seeking right now?
You hit it on the nose, Lisa. They want to know our lifestyle, which this program, Illegals program, quote unquote, started decades ago when they didn't have access to the internet. There wasn't a Facebook, a Twitter, etc. So they really needed to find out what makes America tick, what are Americans thinking. And that's on the very low end. On the much higher end, of course, you have classified information such as troop movements, nuclear technology, weapons of mass destruction technology, or political influence. What are America's moves really going to be? They're putting something out there, but what are they really going to do about Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, things of this nature, so they could plan ahead their own moves?
Two notes. One that is, I like what you said about this started years and years ago, and many of these other countries do plan a decade in advance, where I feel like sometimes the United States, maybe it's just my perception, actually plans maybe a year in advance. Or we plan for the short term because we're looking for that win in the short term, but are we really also planning a decade or a generation in advance ourselves? And the other question is, I find it odd that Anna was busted here in New York City, because everyone was saying, well, one of the gateways to a lot of information, a lot of people that are powerful, is through our socialites, these bimbos in Hollywood who, you know, bring them to other connections and other people. Why New York City? Why not in Hollywood, hanging out with Paris Hilton and then eventually making your way to who knows where?
Usually the FBI way is to do it in a quiet manner. That way I mean, the story didn't really break till 48 hours after the arrests were made. And so within that time period, I have every confidence that they made all their interrogatories and questions that they needed to tie up loose ends with. And then, of course, the story blew up, and it was all about her because, you know, little Nikita and all this other nonsense. At the end of the day, all she is what she is. She was a spy working for somebody else, trying to fool us. And she got caught, and she got what she deserves. And that's it. In terms of being more diligent with our security, we could always do better. We could always look ahead. Other countries have been around for centuries, and they have a longer term view of their proactive intelligence gathering capabilities and their state security. We're a younger country, we're still maturing, and we need to really look at the longer picture. There's always room for improvement when it comes to its security.
Is there any country you admire for their moves, whether it be, you know, Britain with their MI5 or Russia or somebody that you say, you know what, they seem to do some things right, and it would be nice if the FBI or the CIA actually picked up a few of their techniques or their long-term planning skills, like in China? Is there somebody that you have said in your head in the past, and in your years at the FBI, well, that was a good move, maybe we should try that?
Well, it's really difficult because it's a cultural type of mindset. The Chinese have been around for thousands of years, and so for them to put implants from students to anything, to diplomats, and place them in this country and just let them stay here for decades, cultivating and nurturing relationships until we have somebody who's fully recruited by them. That's a program that they've fully been supporting for decades now. We're a lot shorter term and want short-term instant gratification, but we're learning to be patient and learning from these other also very valuable intelligence gathering services internationally, and I'm sure that we will take the best from what they have and integrate it into our capabilities.
So no one country in particular that you admire other than China's long-term outlook?
MI5 is excellent. Of course, Israel. They've been around. They're tough, and but ours domestically. I mean, you really. I don't say this as a former FBI agent, and also you got to take your hat off these days to NYPD. After 9/11, they really stepped up to bat, and they're really gone internationally as well. So they've expanded their capabilities. But here domestically, we're doing an excellent job. There's always room for improvement, and we are learning from our mistakes first and foremost, but also from our peers in the business, if you will.
If you had to guess how many spies at large are out there in the United States, just kind of watching, waiting, trying to see what we're about, or trying to even get some information, would you say upwards of the thousands or tens of thousands? And if so, do you feel that we're pretty much on their trail?
I would say thousands, and I would say the more dangerous ones, we are on their trail. Again, technology has really caught up with a lot of these folks. They use technology, but we use it better, as we could tell specifically from this case. They tried all this fancy stuff, and we were right there, keeping actually ahead of them. And so we are doing a great job at this, and they could keep bringing it on, and we're going to keep stopping them.
Even stenography.
Exactly, which has been around for a long time, but now it's come to the internet. And so very, very advanced technique. However, they were able to penetrate it and
found a password
and
through.
Found a password.
Yeah.
That's right.
And interestingly enough, I don't think this hit the airwaves as much as it should have. The Times Square bomber. Did I hear correctly that his cell phone that he fired up in the plane, and there was our helicopter right above, picking that right up and said, "This is our guy, stop the plane."
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Makes us proud. Okay.
That was exciting. That one they made a little exciting. They actually waited till the plane was about to roll off. So
it was like a movie scene.
Right.
You know, it was like, "Are we going to get there?"
Right.
It's like James Bond came down and said, "Stop the plane."
Right. They made that one a little. Well, for the media, they had to for pictures, etc.
Well, Manny, thank you very much for joining the Political Chick. Again, Manny's website is mgsecurityservices.com, based here in New York City. Thank you, and I hope to have you back.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right,
My
thanks
pleasure.
a lot. When we come back, Raymond Tan is going to join us, talk to us about, yes, lots of dismal housing numbers, but on the flip side, Manhattan's starting to see a bounce around. Is it leading the trend, or is it actually just following? He's going to let us know. Stay with us if you want to give us a shout. Write this number down. It's 877-CHAT-212. We'll be right back.